Morning, story time with Sam. 7 out of 12, July 22. So this is the 7th out of 12 snippets into the life of a small accountancy practice owner. What did July 22 bring? Well, it brought a proper holiday. So I'm filming this from the hotel room. I did try and film it from the balcony, but the sound quality wasn't good enough. So unfortunately, I can't share the sun with you. Earlier this week, I posted on LinkedIn about finally, after 3 years of self-employment, being able to take a holiday abroad. And as I said in the post, I'm very grateful that I can do that. And I'm sure there are a few small business owners that will be interested to know how, practically, the holiday can happen despite the running of the firm still very much falling on my shoulders. So I'm writing/filming this on day 4 of my week away. I do have my laptop with me, which is how I'm filming this video. The reason I have my laptop with me is, for one, because I know there'll still be certain small elements of work which can't be avoided. I still do the weekly payroll in my practice, unfortunately, and hopefully not for much longer. At the minute, I still process the weekly payroll, so that's one example of something that will still need doing. And for two, because I would feel anxious without it, which is pretty sad, but it's true. And the reason behind that is because if a client did need something urgently that only I could deal with, then I'd want to have the option of reacting on my laptop rather than trying to use a small device. And as much as I've deferred as many tasks as possible whilst I'm on holiday, I relax more and relax easier knowing that the laptop's with me. It's in the hotel room 90% of the time at least, but I know that it's here if I need it. One day I'll leave it at home, but I'm just not quite there yet. There'll always be people telling you that you can't have a proper holiday, or a holiday's not a holiday if there's any work done at all. But I think it's important to remember, just do whatever you can. A holiday can be whatever you want it to be and whatever's possible for you at the time of taking the holiday. One thing I think is worth mentioning is that I don't have a separate work phone. And I think a holiday is a perfect example of when it would be better to have a separate work mobile. Sometimes I regret it, but most of the time I do prefer to be contactable at all times, especially for staff members. It is still a very small business, and for me, it just works better. So let's talk about how to switch off. Now, I'm no expert by a long stretch. I'm not that good at it, but here are my top 5 tips of how to switch off whilst on holiday. So tip number 1, plan ahead. Do what you need to do and condense that work. Spend a couple of intense weeks before you come away. That's what I did. I had 2 weeks of very intense work. I got every deadline kind of met. Anything that I knew that I'd be asked for whilst I was away, if I didn't get it done, I got it done within the 2 weeks before I came on holiday. And I didn't allow anything to creep into my diary within those 2 weeks. So any requests from clients or otherwise that weren't urgent got deferred until after my holiday. And within those 2 weeks, I concentrated really, really hard on the tasks in hand. Tip number 2, remember that it is just accountancy, or whatever your business type is. It's not life or death. And as much as clients at times make you feel like it is, a lot of the time, whatever it is they think is urgent will wait. Obviously, it's a lot better if you can give clients notice of your time away. It's a way of setting boundaries before departure. And once that's done, don't let them lead you to believing that their requirements can't wait a week or so. If you give a client a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks notice that you're going to be away, then that's their opportunity to say, could you please do this before you go on holiday? And then you can kind of answer yes or no and just kind of meet their expectations, or rather set realistic expectations for that client. Number 3, and this one is a great one for me, turn off read receipts on your mobile. So as I said, I don't have a separate business mobile, and something that really helps me to switch off from work is to turn off read receipts. So I use WhatsApp a lot for business. Also iMessage, you can turn off your read receipts on both of those platforms. And for me, that really helps, because if I know that client is aware that I've read their message and not responded to it, that gives me a little bit of anxiety. And I prefer to turn off read receipts. The client doesn't know that I've read the message. I can then mark it as unread on my device, or pin it to the top, or however I'm managing the messages. And it helps me that I can then go on, read it at leisure. Client still doesn't know when I've read it, and then I can respond when I'm ready to. Tip number 4, if you do need to do any work whilst you're away on holiday, schedule and stick to specific screen time. So if you're relaxing by the pool or doing your holiday activities or whatever it is, try and avoid your phone if you know that work notifications could crop up. So I find it really difficult if I'm just like browsing through gallery, having a look at the pics that I've taken, or if I'm replying to personal messages and something work wise pops up on the screen. I find it really difficult to not jump and respond to it. So, as much as possible, I try not to look at my device. A good old fashioned book does absolute wonders for switching off. Um, Tip number 5, delegation. So I think that being on holiday is a really good time to test the abilities of staff to assign work to a staff member that you would usually do yourself. Maybe a task that you've only ever done in the business that you think, oh, could I delegate that? Try it, do it whilst you're on holiday. You can review it when you get back, but it gives that staff member a new sense of responsibility because you're not around. They can try, see how they get on. I feel like it's a really, really good time to kind of test a staff member's abilities and give them a few things that you would usually do yourself. So that's it from me. I hope you all have a lovely August, and I'll see you again when I'm hopefully tanned and definitely revitalized from this holiday. Have a good one.